I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. This is the February 18, 2026 Board of Commissioners meeting. We have a full agenda today. Today's meeting is also online. If you have any public comments that are not on the agenda today, there will be a point in the agenda that we ask you to come up and give us a 3 to 5 minute presentation. At this time, we're going to start with awards, commendations. I don't see Scott on yet, so I'm going to have Cindy go ahead first. Is that all right with you guys?
Okay.
So Commissioner Timmons.
We have 4 Challenge Coin awards, and the Challenge Coins have already been given. We want to make sure and read this just because these folks are doing outstanding work. Our first person is Alexis Larkin. Alexis has demonstrated exceptional professional growth and great resilience in her role as a disease intervention specialist. She has faced significant challenges with responsibility and determination, particularly during a 6-month period in which, although the position is designed for 2 people, she independently managed all communicable disease cases for the county. During this time, she ensured timely and thorough follow-up for each case, maintaining high standards of quality despite the considerable workload. In addition to her case management responsibilities, Alexis played a key role in developing and implementing the condom dispenser strategy. Proactively, she visited numerous private businesses and community locations, effectively communicating the importance of prevention and successfully securing their participation in hosting dispensers. Her initiative and perseverance are essential in expanding the strategy within the community. Alexis has also made a valuable contribution to the high school education session strategy. Oh, I think they're just here. Alexis, you want to come up here? I'm reading all about you. Alexis, I can just stand right here. It says Alexis has also made a valuable contribution to the high school educational session strategy. Her approachable personality, respectful demeanor, and professionalism have been essential to the success of these activities. Thanks to the acceptance she has earned from both students and school staff, we have been able to continue these educational sessions year after year. Alexis stands out for her commitment to the Communicable Disease Program and Public Health Department, as well as her strong work ethic. Her dedication and professional growth made her a fundamental pillar of the program. Boy, we read all sorts of wonderful things about you. You're a good deal. Congratulations. Okay, Mario.
He couldn't make it.
Mario, okay. Elizabeth? Come on up. Hello. Elizabeth was awarded Employee of the Quarter in the summer of 2025, which was very much deserved. Elizabeth has always been a team player. She always does her best in all projects, in every task, and everything she is asked to do. She has always stepped up when asked for help, whether it be to work extra hours, help with interpreting, work off-site, or helping out in the Pendleton office or the new Hermiston Student Health Clinic. All who have worked with Elizabeth know how invaluable she is to UCO Health and to the community of Umatilla County. When management asks for extra help, she is always among the first to volunteer. Her knowledge, professionalism, and kindness make her an asset and joy to work with. Thank you, Elizabeth, for all your hard work. I am proud to choose you as a Challenge Coin Award recipient this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Melissa.
Doing that just right.
Melissa has not been with CoHealth for a long time. During her time here, she has shown great teamwork ethic. My team has been down 2 positions for a few months now, and Melissa stepped right in to help us out. Although answering phones and making appointments is not in her job description. Melissa has learned a lot of what is involved with working the front desk, and not because she was forced to, but because she wanted to. She wanted to help, and for that, I am grateful. I was on leave for 2 weeks and was told by management that Melissa camped out up front and helped every day. Melissa, you don't know how thankful I am for that. On top of your regular duties, all the TV work that has come up over the last several months and always taken on helping us out up front. There are no words to describe my gratitude. Melissa thinks she hasn't done too much, but in reality, she has done very much. I'm proud to reward you with a Challenge Coin Award this month. Okay, and I'm, even though Mario's not here, I want to go ahead and read this. I would like to recognize Mario for his contributions to the environmental health program. He has worked hard over these last few years and would like to share some of his achievements. Mario joined our team June of 23, and it was great to have him on board in the environmental health program. Umatilla County Public Health started well testing in the La Guama in 22 and was ramping up in the year 23. During this time, there were many food, pool, and lodging facilities that needed a semi-annual inspection. In addition, there were summer lunches, summer pools, and temporary restaurant facilities that needed to be inspected. Our department was grateful that he was highly motivated to jump into the role as a health inspector. His ability to adapt and learn concepts quickly led him to start inspections early as a trainee. Mario was able to accomplish one of the environmental health program goals. He was able to pass the National Environmental Health Association exam. The exam covers many different areas of environmental health, which include knowledge about food, drinking water, wastewater, radiation, soil, and air. I am proud that he was able to become a fully registered sanitarian. As part of his position as the health inspector requires interacting with the public. The health inspector needs to keep a high level of professionalism and respect when conducting inspections and communicating with the public. Mario has encountered a difficult problem during one of his inspections. He was able to de-escalate the situation and provide clarification on code requirements. Even though faced with this problem, he maintained his professionalism and commitment to fairness. Because of the outstanding hard work, I would like to recognize Mario for this award. I want to congratulate Mario for passing the exam and obtaining his license, and to keep up the great work. So thank you, Mario.
Thank you, Commissioner Timmons. Still don't see Scott on, but you guys,
He said he's on, he's waiting for the host.
oh, can you let him in, Kelsey?
He's not on.
You the right meeting?
Goes to the agenda on the county website. You should be able just to click right on the Google link. I thought that's what I sent.
I'm going to give this a little bit of time because this is a pretty special certificate, and we have some people that want to join and share. Do I have to get between you two today? Seem in the waiting room.
Is there even a waiting room on this one?
You come straight in.
That's what I thought.
Copying and pasting it before where it doesn't.
I see Dan Lanai's on. Maybe Dan could answer that for us.
I'm sorry, I was just talking to the health department as they were walking down to congratulate them. What's the issue?
Is there a waiting room on this link?
No, there shouldn't be, but let's take a look here what we got.
Sent him the link again. And it's the same one that was in our previous email, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, you just go to the website and click on the link there and they should be able to get in.
No?
It's on the same link.
Who is trying to get in?
What's his last name?
Hayes.
Scott Hayes.
He can also, let's see, there's a phone number there. He can dial in, I think, on there too. Yeah, he can call that number and put the pin in if he's having trouble trying to figure out the.
Did you get my email?
Sent him the link.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I sent the other day, but.
I'll guarantee you it's worth the wait.
I can add.
He can wait to meet.
Is there a button that says join now? Tell him to hit join now. Yeah.
Karen.
Sometimes those links get finicky. Maybe if he closes his browser and tries clicking on it again.
That State of Eric's giving us IT advice over here.
You know, all my reviews on Yelp are top notch.
I'm sure they are.
On the Google Meet.
What do you think?
I just say if they're having trouble, have them call the number that's on the top of the meeting and put the pin in.
Well, let's move through a couple of non-business items, and then we'll come back and see where we are. So, did you have any awards recognitions?
No.
No, okay. Approval of minutes from the previous meeting, February 4th, 2026.
Move approval.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Additions to the agenda. I do have one addition to the agenda. I talked to Nick and put this as 21. An emergency request for the Edwards Road Bridge number 223. It's a emergency request for an expenditure to get the planks ordered so that decking can be replaced. So that'll be, and Tom's here, so we'll just move that to number 21. Does that work, Nick?
I believe so.
Any other public input or recognition of visitors? Welcome to the Forest Service today, for sure. And we're going to go ahead and take the Forest Service report and then come back to you guys. And if you need any help on IT or anything, just Dan or Kelsey. Come on up, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to join you here this morning. We greatly appreciate the ongoing connection and relationship we have with Umatilla County.
The only thing I got to remind you is name and
Absolutely. And with that in mind, even though we have those connections, glad to refresh those on a regular basis. So Eric Wattrud, Forest Supervisor on the Umatilla National Forest, based out of Pendleton here. And with me here today,
Johnny Collin, District Ranger for the Walla Walla Ranger District. Dennis, Acting Deputy Public.
and then also she couldn't make it in today due to road closures, but Arden Simpson, who is the District Ranger in Ukiah, and she's been able to coordinate with Johnny, and he'll be presenting updates on her behalf as well. And so our intent here today is just to refresh those connections with you as the elected leaders of the community. And that's a relationship that I really appreciate. That while your kind of most direct connections with the local line officer, the district ranger, is going to be primary, I really appreciate the chance to connect with you. That it's always nice to do that when there's not smoke in the air, or when there's not, the water's not coming over, the road or whatever that looks like. And just to have that coordination and to hear from you about the questions and interests that you have from your constituents throughout Umatilla County. And I greatly appreciate that when you do get those questions or feedback, that you as commissioners pick up the phone and let the district ranger or myself know, so that we can be responsive to that. Because that's our goal as the National Forest, is we want to be a good neighbor to Umatilla County, and especially the largest county that we have at almost 400,000 acres of the National Forest in Umatilla. So Johnny, and on Arden's behalf, will be presenting about specific projects that are going on in and around Umatilla County that may be of interest. Before we get to those specifics, I'm happy to provide an update on kind of some overarching things in regards to Forest Plan Division, which greatly appreciated the commissioner's engagement in the Blues Intergovernmental Council as that's being developed. Fire season, or anything else that's on your mind? Do you have a particular place you'd like me to start?
Good question.
Yes.
The Blues Intergovernmental Council, where are we at on that?
Thank you, Commissioner Timmons. And so pleased to share that, after 20 years of efforts to update the forest plans for the Umatilla, the Malheur, and the Wallowa-Whitman National Forests, with the engagement of that Blues Intergovernmental Council in Umatilla County, we're actually at a point here where this next year is going to yield a lot of fruit. And we just this last fall We had a 60-day scoping period with the public, and we received 8,000 comments in regards to that. Our forest plan revision team has been sorting through that. And we're looking to go out with a draft environmental impact statement this spring for a 90-day public comment. And that draft environmental impact statement will analyze 3 different alternatives that have been developed in coordination with and also to reflect those 8,000 comments that came in. So following that, we're looking at having a final environmental impact statement probably this fall. And then after going through the required objection period process, landing at what finalizes the process as a record of decision, a ROD, it's called, and that will be in early 2026.
It's been a long time project, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and Umatilla County has been very involved in that, and we've appreciated that. It's helped set a lot of that direction to make sure that the forest plans are reflective of community needs, the long-term sustainability of the landscape, and ensuring that we have the infrastructure we need from a socioeconomic perspective to continue to manage the national forest. That's essential that, we can do, Johnny's probably going to share with you about some of the major planning projects we have. We just signed down in North Fork John Day Ranger District, 100,000 acre project to reduce fuels and improve habitat across the southern part of the forest. And that it's essential that we have the industry to help us be able to implement them. And so that's where that forest plan revision can help by setting the high level sideboards for how the forest is managed. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Very good.
Anything else on forest plan revision, or I can speak to fire season preparations?
Yeah, if you want to touch on fire prep, that would be great.
I'm sure we were all, it's always the morning when it's snowy and icy, you're like, are we excited about this or not? But we all know that we need that snowpack in our mountains. For this year has been very, very reduced to where it is historically. And that's something that we certainly keep our eye on. In the end, it really comes down to when we get into fire season, we can have hot, dry conditions out there. In the end, it really comes down to the ignitions that we receive. Are we going to have lightning storms that come through that produce fires, and in regards to human ignitions as well, and trying to work through that public prevention message, being careful with ignition sources in the woods. In the meantime, the preparations that we're going through are starting to cool up even a little bit earlier than usual in terms of our hiring efforts with firefighters have actually been even more successful this year than they have in prior years. This was one of the first years in a long time when I've heard from my district rangers and staff officers, they're like, wow, we were able to fill almost all of our fire positions on the engines and the crews. That was super encouraging. We also, in addition to those folks that are primary firefighters, all of our staff are part of the fire response in terms of people who help support the logistics or the finances, the planning when we do have fire operations in motion. We also work closely with our partners, states, Oregon Department of Forestry, Washington DNR, and with the local fire districts and Umatilla County. So that's something that no one agency can respond to everything that's going to occur. And so those interagency relationships are essential. And we really appreciate the mutual aid agreements that we have going, where it doesn't so much depend on the color of the truck, the agency that it's with. It's like, who's closest, right? Let's just go respond and work together to respond to that threat to public safety and protect property and resources. So while I can't say that I'm super happy with where the snowpack is at, I'm happy, with how the hiring efforts are proceeding and those interagency relations.
That's very good. Anything else you wanted?
No, I think at this point, I can go ahead and turn it over to District Ranger Johnny Collin.
Perfect. Thanks, Eric. Great.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'll just do it again. Johnny Collin, District Ranger. for the Walla Walla Ranger District. So I'll save the best for last, so I'll start with the North Fork John Day District since I'm the big. So a couple of big projects they're working on right now that kind of have a similar name. So the 54 North project is a vegetation project that's kind of north of Ukiah there on the northern end of the district. That project is moving along. They're planning a second field trip out there. That one, they're working with CTUIR and the Oregon Department of Forestry to plan that project, and hopefully implementation will begin on that next year. The 54 road project is still working through the permitting. It's still planned for implementation this summer. And as Eric mentioned, the Ellis project is a big project, both on the Hefner District and the North Fork John Day. That one recently had a signed decision, so they're hoping to move forward with the implementation on that with the first timber sale coming out fourth quarter of this year. And then looking forward, I'm not sure, do all of you have the program of workbook? So looking forward, the big project for planning this year is, for the district folks, is the Battle and Ruin project. That's a vegetation project with several thousand acres of commercial harvest and non-commercial thinning on it. And hopefully that project, the planning part gets completed this year. And I'll move on to Walla Walla. Are there any questions about North Fork that I could pass on to Arden?
Actually, I want to go back to the 54 road project. So you said, will that be completed this summer? Is that?
That is the intent, is implemented and completed during the in-stream work window to help protect fish by the end of the summer and into the fall.
You know, the race is on. Which one's going to be done first, Thorn Hollow or the 54 road? I'm kind of thinking Thorn Hollow is going to beat you.
I recently went out and stood on the Thorn Hollow Bridge, or next to it, where it was, and was pleased that Umatilla County is able to move forward with it. You know, those effects from the 2020 floods, it's great to be kind of turning the page and getting to where we can fully restore access to those areas.
Thank you.
All right, race is on.
All right. Any other questions before I move on to Walla Walla? All right. So this one I'm a little more familiar with. So on the Walla Walla District, we're looking at implementing several projects that have been planned over the last several years. We're continuing on the High Buck project, which is along the Summit Road area. In addition to that, last year we were able to sign a decision for a resiliency project in there called the Summit Road project. And that one is looking to do some fuels management along that to give us more of a secure line there along that Summit Road, and also just make those stands more resilient to wildfire. And also a side benefit is we will get some commercial projects out of that. The Oregon Department of Forestry, through a good neighbor agreement, laid out a project that is hoping to be awarded by fourth quarter of this year. Also working on implementing the Tiger Mill project. This last year, we were able to sell 3 timber sales out of that. One along the Government Mountain Road, one north of the watershed, and then one around the Deduct Springs area. Hoping to get started on those this summer, and then also some non-commercial thinning. It'll be the first time that we've entered the watershed with a non-commercial treatment. So hoping to start on that this summer. We have that contract awarded.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How do you do that, non-commercial thinning?
So non-commercial thinning, we primarily are treating the ladder fuels, the understory vegetation, trying to create less of an avenue for a fire in the future to get up into the canopy. So we're going through and we're treating a lot of the trees that are 9-inch and below in certain areas. And then we also, as part of those contracts, some of them will be lop and scatter, so we'll just scatter the fuel and they'll break down over the next few years, but in areas with heavier treatments, we follow up with piling, and then we'll go through and we'll burn those piles a year or two after they cure.
Are you walking that
Yes.
down into the watershed?
Yep, that, it's a pretty rugged piece of ground, so, it's gonna be done by people walking into the watershed and treating those with hand saws. Well, chainsaws. Yeah, and then we're also, in the next few years, we're looking to get a fourth timber sale out of there, the Hobbs timber sale. And then looking forward into other vegetation projects. So our big focus this year is going to be on the Motet project. That's kind of in the center of the district around Jubilee Lake and in the Little Looking Glass watershed. That one we're hoping will be the next several years worth of vegetation treatments. Hopefully it'll take 10 to 15 years to implement, and that'll be both timber projects, non-commercial projects, and
Walking down into the bottom of the,
no, that one we're gonna stay, like, we've got some pretty relatively less difficult terrain
Okay.
in kind of the upper ends of that watershed. So it's some more gentle slopes and that sort of thing. Going into the non-vegetation projects, so the 32 road, hopefully I don't mess that up. So the 32 road, federal highways will begin implementing that project this summer. They have been stockpiling a lot of materials up along the Summit Road last fall, and they're going to begin from the top down on that project, implementing that. That one sounds like will take a few summers to get through the reconstruction of that road, just the amount of damage it has.
Where they can start.
As far as I'm aware, the upper end of the where the damage occurred, I'm not exactly sure where along the road that is.
Most of that stockpile.
They'll start from the Ruckle side.
Yeah, they're gonna start, oh, sorry. Yeah,
Got it.
they're up the side.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got the huge stockpile right
Yeah.
there.
I was curious where they were gonna start.
Yeah, so they're gonna start just working down from there.
Okay.
So, and then the Spout Springs, we look forward to working with Umatilla County on that. Appreciate your assistance in getting that ski hill open to the public again, and finding a special use permit operator to operate that. Yeah, create that opportunity for folks like that. We're really excited. That's all I got. Any questions?
Going back to the Tiger Mill or the I guess the treatment area, is that gonna go on at the same time as the commercial logging?
So-
They use the same road.
So the non-commercial treatment won't include any haul. So they will be using the 65 road to get up there. But they're occurring in the same project area, but they're in different. They're not treating the same acre with two different contracts.
Okay, so that makes sense.
A lot of the commercial treatment we will go into in the future and do some non-commercial, but that'll be a follow-up.
Yeah, because that road, and even with just crews, is gonna be a tight fit.
So, right now, most of the non-commercial that non-commercial contract is north of the 65.
Okay. So
Where,
just like in the map that you had.
Yeah.
Shaded up.
and there's also a story map. I don't have the link, but I could send it to you that if you're interested in where treatments are occurring, our fuel specialist's been keeping up to date with updating that.
If you had a chance, Johnny, I think we'd all probably like to see.
Yeah, I'll email that over when I get back.
Okay, thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you.
One thing I do want to address is what Eric mentioned about snow. I'm not against the snow falling, by the way. I was very happy to see the snow this morning.
Yeah, It's been a pretty light snow here. The one ski resort we have has been doing what they can to stay open, but
Bluewood?
yeah, Bluewood.
Yeah. Struggle
It's
bus.
pretty low snow. Thank you.
Any further questions for Umatilla National Parks?
No, but we sure appreciate the partnership and thank you for coming in and making the presentation. Appreciate it as always. And the two-way street, if you need something from us, make sure that you please reach out.
And we've felt that a great deal of the engagement from the commissioners and helping to encourage some of these key projects that have come up here today and helping those move forward. That's been a big part of our ability to amplify and increase our management on.
Thank you guys.
This is nice. I appreciate this very
Well,
much.
thank Mr. Dennis for putting those together. Just
Not
thank
as
you very
cute
much.
as the last one, though.
If you have questions in regards to public affairs or kind of the layout of that book that Commissioner Schaefer was just referring to.
But thank you. It's a wonderful publication.
I'm glad you don't have questions.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right, let's pivot back to Under Sheriff Littlefield and Sheriff Rowan. And on the line, we have Mr. Scott Hayes. My phone.
Hello,
Can you hear us, Scott?
Hi. Yeah, can you hear me okay?
And a little bit louder would be great.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, I will see what I can do. Is it any better?
Yeah, that's really good, Scott.
Okay, super. And good morning, commissioners and members of the community. My name is Scott Hayes, and I am the Executive Director for the Northwest Accreditation Alliance. I appreciate the opportunity to address the commission and present the Umatilla Sheriff's Office with its first award of accreditation under the leadership of Sheriff Terry Rowan. Law enforcement is experiencing a changing society with increased demands for police accountability and transparency. As in our past, our profession must face these challenges and work with our communities to address their concerns. Accreditation is one step towards building community trust. Excuse me. The Northwest Accreditation Alliance Board is comprised of members of the Oregon State Sheriff's Association, the Oregon Association of Chiefs of Police, and the Association of Public Safety Communication Officials, and provide accreditation services for 117 law enforcement agencies and communication centers. Accreditation goals are straightforward. They are to support the continued improvement of law enforcement services, establish best practices through professional standards, promote agency accountability and transparency, and enhance overall management. For the Umatilla Sheriff's Office to become accredited, it had to adhere to 110 law enforcement standards. Compliance is generally expressed through policies and procedures and adherence to Oregon state law, Oregon Administrative Code, constitutional provisions, and county policy. Our standards are based on best practice nationally through changes in federal and Oregon law. In addition to meeting each of these 110 standards, the agency must also demonstrate compliance by following established policies and current best practices. Reaccreditation will then occur every 3 years. This is a monumental step for any agency to be evaluated by an independent outside organization and have its policies and practices scrutinized. I'm aware that several staff members were involved in the process, but I would like to acknowledge Jim Littlefield, Undersheriff, who worked diligently to prepare the agency for their assessment review. I'll also note that the agency's 911 Communications Center is completing its accreditation process and will be the 11th Oregon Communication Center to receive accreditation. So, Commissioners, Sheriff Rowan, and Under Sheriff Littlefield, on behalf of the Northwest Accreditation Alliance and its 24 Board of Directors, I'd like to congratulate you on receiving your first award of accreditation.
Wow.
Scott, that was incredible, but the one thing I want to add before we ask under sheriff and sheriff to make comments is, in the time that I learned that you got this accreditation, I had a chance to study what this accreditation really means and what you guys really had to go through. Well, I thought the jail accreditation was a tough task, because I get to take that tour every year during the accreditation process. This is even like a mountain above that accreditation. The steps that you guys took were impressive, and you make all of Umatilla County extremely proud. Every single person should understand what this means for Umatilla County and Umatilla County Sheriff's Office. So congratulations, and hard work, well done.
Sheriff, could you hold that up to the, I think, Dan, am I right in front of my nameplate?
Yeah, that shows up on the video.
Yeah.
This wasn't an easy thing, according to that gentleman.
No.
There's a lot of work involved.
Yes,
Yes,
there
yes.
Yes. Yeah, for me,
If,
go ahead, Scott.
if I could interject. So there are 110 standards. However, I will make a special note here that there are almost 261 bullets that also have to be addressed within those standards, and policy written to those bullets, as well as proof of compliance, which shows that the agency is actually following what they do. So yes, it is a monumental step for any agency. We have spent incredible amounts of time trying to streamline the process for all agencies to make it simple and affordable as can be. And so we're pretty pleased with this. And of course, the Umatilla Sheriff's Office is only the 12th law enforcement sheriff's office to join the accreditation process in the Northwest Accreditation Alliance.
That's not just Oregon, right? That's the Northwest?
It's,
Well, we also do Alaska. Several years ago, Alaska reached down and they were looking for to become accredited, and they were trying to find an accreditation program that would best fit their needs. And after research, they decided to join us. So now we actually have a branch out of Alaska.
So when you said that there's only 11 communications centers that have reached this status, is that Oregon or is that Oregon and Alaska?
I just, my stats were just for the state of Oregon.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing. The whole accreditation process. I don't think unless you go through it, you really understand it. But it has paragraphs of achievable goals. I mean, and they are specific. But below that, then you start looking at the items below that have to fall into the main above. You can't skip 2 or 3 and go to 6 and 7. So, yeah, you just can't skip, and it's pretty amazing, actually.
thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It touches all aspects of the sheriff's office too.
This is predominantly for the patrol function. As indicated earlier, the jail goes through an accreditation process every 2 years. In that environment, there's over 306 standards developed by the Oregon State Sheriff's Association. So there's jail commanders and staff that come every 2 years. They review all of the documentation and come and do a physical inspection. And, depending on the score of those key factors in the standards is where the accreditation comes from. So, we're honored to have this. This was a goal that I and Jim set years ago to eventually get to this place. And, for me personally, I want to thank Jim for all of his hard work on this. He took a leadership role in going through this process, working with some of our other administrators and staff, to ensure that this was done. And, you know, to have this go to the Professional Standards Committee through the Northwest Accreditation Alliance was quite an honor to finally get to this point. It just reflects the professionalism of our organization and that we are following the best standards and practices in public safety service in Umatilla County.
You got your phone with you?
Yeah,
Kelsey, take
if I could just, for a minute, want to thank Sheriff Rowan. Again, as he said, it was one of our goals, really from the beginning of our tenure to finally achieve this. So this was a 2-year process, as described by Scott. I want to thank Scott Hayes and his team for helping us through the process. Once you get going on it, it takes a while before you know and really get your feet under you and then start moving through. So my team, they were incredible helping us through this. It wasn't just me and the sheriff, Captain Wolverton, Lieutenant Roberts, Josh Roberts, and then Lieutenant Russell from Communications. This does cover 911 dispatch communications and patrol, and then so along with the jail, now we can say as an agency that our 3 primary divisions are accredited through some body, and so that's a big
some high standard body.
Yes.
Not just any
Yes,
body, right?
and to have an independent body like the Northwest Accreditation Alliance check our work and say, yes, you have met or exceeded the standards is quite special, so we appreciate
It
it.
really is. Makes us proud. Jim, can you stand here and
Yeah.
then move Kelsey to take a picture if you guys don't mind? And that way we can take credit.
I'm gonna go this way so that TV is not in the background.
Thanks, you guys.
All right,
very
thank you
much.
guys, appreciate it.
This is going to be displayed probably in the public area of the sheriff's office, so.
There's not enough room there. There's.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled TV show or whatever.
Programming.
The next item on our business items is a TSP update. Charlie.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Charlie.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Charlie Hotchkiss. I'm a land use planner, and you're going to hear a bunch of things from me for like rapid fire for a couple items. So the Umatilla County is currently updating the county transportation system plan. Hiddleston and Associates has created a list of priority projects and is wanting the board's input on the list prior to the Joint Planning Commission Board of County Commissioner work session in March coming up. Following that work session, the proposed TSP will go before the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners for adoption this spring. The most urgent projects are divided into 2 categories, Tier 1 and Tier 2. Tier 1 projects require immediate attention and currently lack alternative funding sources such as grants, while Tier 2 projects are also near-term priority projects, but grant funds have been identified as possible funding sources. So we're looking for feedback from the board on the prioritized list, and that will be incorporated by Kittleson prior to the joint work session. And online, we also have Matt Huger from Kittleson, and I don't know if Lakshmi joined him or not. And Matt was going to say a few words. Are you there, Matt?
He was there.
I was on the phone, wasn't he?
I saw a different phone
Or
number.
could he not talk?
He should be able to.
Okay.
His phone number ends in 25 according to Tierney.
Yeah, that's, I think so.
Matt, it's all you. Should be unmuted.
Maybe *6, is that a thing?
Yes, there's
Oh,
been.
here he comes.
Here we
Can you hear
go.
me now?
Oh, wonderful.
Welcome, Matt.
Yeah, sorry for the technical challenge here this morning. I really have been trying to get on the call, so I again apologize. Something wasn't working right.
You're just in time.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. Charlie did a great job summarizing. We're just here for feedback and insights, and I can go into details if necessary and answer questions. Otherwise, I believe we met with you all last week, and hopefully you've had a chance to review that project list. I will say this is a draft list. We can kind of move the deck chairs around any number of ways. And just because we put something on a priority list now doesn't mean it couldn't shift around later. So At that, I'll just kind of take questions or insight.
First of all, I'll start off. Matt, thank you for all the work, and it was a great meeting last week when you guys went through these for sure. I think both commissioners got to see the P and K that came through all the list and the spread. So comments or questions?
No, I think the priority list is spot on. I think the Nursery Bridge project on Milton Free Water, I think that was really important to be towards the top of that list. So I think clearly you put a lot of time and effort into this, and Charlie, thank you very much for the effort.
I have a couple questions. Where did you get the projects? Where did you, how did you identify these projects?
Yeah, great question. I think they first started with reviewing your current adopted TSP. Now we recognize it's quite old, and was the reason, and for being that old, it was the reason why we're going through this update. But there was still a lot of incomplete or uncompleted projects that still existed in that TSP. So we worked with Megan, Charlie, and Bob and Tom Fellows to re-review that list and make sure that there were still valid projects that needed to remain in this update. So that was the first source. The second source was looking at all of our partnering agency transportation plans. One good example of that is the Confederate Tribes, the Umatilla Indian Reservation. They updated their TSP about 3 to 4 years ago. And there were a number of projects that were identified as kind of high priority projects that were important to the tribal community, but were also on county owned or maintained roadways. So that's why you see kind of a hot spot of projects popping up in the tribal area around CTUR's Mission Grounds area. And then other locations and other projects came out of other miscellaneous public engagement and feedback opportunities. And Charlie and Megan have been spending quite a bit of time over the 2024 and 2025 calendar years visiting with folks. And as part of that feedback, we got a lot of projects and ideas through that feedback. And then lastly, Umatilla County is going through a Safe Streets for All planning effort, and we were a part of the project team. And as a result of that safety planning work, there were any number of projects that came out of that effort that identified locations where some systemic or specific site improvements were needed. So we are bringing those projects forward into this TSP update as well.
So your cost estimates, I'm looking at Nursery Bridge, 2.5 million. Is that a current number?
Yeah, these numbers are our initial best guesstimates at this point. We had Tom and his staff take a look at these, and admittedly, I think Tom was thinking maybe some of these still are on the light side of costs, but we also are we also recognize that some of these projects don't exist in a vacuum, and you can't just replace a bridge without doing some other approach-based updates and refinements. So a lot of these cost estimates, I think, are best efforts at this point, but we recognize that once you get into out of the planning realm and get into a more of a PS&E design effort, a lot of these costs probably get updated and modified as you proceed down that more detailed path. So they're planning level estimates at this point, and usually there's a factor of contingency or margin of error that goes with them.
Okay. I was just curious, believe me, I'm way over my skis on this one, but our cemetery bridge is estimated at 15 million right now. And it surprises me that Nursery Bridge is 2.5 million. That's just a comment.
Yeah. Great question. And certainly we can revisit these numbers. We did our best sort of planning level lens at this, but there's a lot of detail that goes into these. So if there are other projects like that one that you feel need to get revisited, we can certainly take another pass at any of these.
Is funding available for these at this point?
So we have those two tiers. So the tier one projects in that list, they require immediate attention, but don't have an alternative funding source, such as grants.
Okay.
And then tier two projects are more long or near-term priority projects that have grant funds identified that can help pay either portion, like a portion of that.
Thank you, Dan.
Anything else? I wish they were funded.
I know, wouldn't that be great? I look forward to seeing you all in the work session, and thank you, Matt. Do you guys have anything else to add, or do you want to?
You guys have put a lot of work into this over the last 2.5 years. Not just this, but all the way from the Highway 11 safety project to this document. A lot of time and effort's been put in by you and your team, for sure, Charlie. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been fun.
It's nice to see you at different events peddling this project too, so.
You know me, I'm a woman of the people. And thank you for that nice into what we're going to talk about next.
No, we need to.
Do I have,
And,
do you have to announce it?
Let's, is there a wish to go ahead and endorse this?
I'd move to approve it.
Me too. I mean, second.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next.
Thank you. Thank you for that endorsement. I'll stick to that description for the moment. And what we will do with this is this will be the list that we will put into the prioritized project list for the draft of the upcoming TSP. So you'll see this again at the work session that we'll schedule in March. And then assuming there aren't further questions or revisions at that point, that will be the version that you'll see in the formal draft of the TSP. So.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
And then I would also, if I can, just to further the previous comment, I would just like to reemphasize the efforts that Charlie, Megan, Bob, and Tom, and anybody else that I didn't mention that who's been out helping me and Lakshmi with this TSP. This has been a team effort, and we've leaned heavily on county staff. So I don't want that to go underappreciated on this end. Certainly extreme efforts being leveled and efforted by county staff, and I really appreciate that, and I want them recognized.
Thanks, Matt. We
Thanks,
love
Matt.
our consultants.
All right, let's move on to the ODOT grant request.
Right back.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
As Dan just mentioned, we've been doing the Highway 11 safety project for 3 grant cycles now. So we recently received a grant from ODOT Region 5 to form a local Highway 11 safety focus group. That's been going for 3 grant cycles. This is to provide safe driving education and outreach in that area between Milton Freewater and State Line. The funding was awarded for October 2025 through September 2026. This has been the 3rd grant award to fund this project. Requests for the next cycle that runs October 1st through September 30th, 2027 are now due. County staff are requesting to continue the outreach and Sheriff's Office overtime along Highway 11 and Milton Freewater. The grant will provide funding for marketing, driver safety, and provide overtime funding for patrols. If awarded, the grant requires a 20% match from the county, which can include in-kind. Staff are requesting approval for in-kind match in the amount of $7,500, which would come from my time spent.
No, thank you.
Move to authorize staff to submit the grant application.
There's been a motion and second. Quick comment is that rumblings are you're going to get the start probably fairly shortly the same request for 395 between Hermiston and Umatilla. So
Yes,
you
we
know all
were
about that.
discussing that. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
So anyway, been a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Again, thank you, Charlie, very much.
You're starting to take over Tom's, podium.
Fifth grant funding, Charlie.
It's me again.
Welcome back.
So ODOT statewide transportation improvement fund plans are currently open for amendment. Planning staff is requesting to amend our current 2025-2027 STIF plan to utilize unprogrammed carryover funds. Umatilla County has $9,288.68 of unprogrammed carryover funds that planning staff is requesting to add to Project 1, Task 1, which is Transit Coordinator Project, which pays Megan and I's position. within the current STIF plan. And then CTIR's kayak public transit is requesting to utilize their $253,288.68 of unprogrammed carryover funds. They want to add $75,812 to Project 6, Task 1, and that's to fund the operation costs for the pilot rocket route. And then they want to add $177,759 to Project 6, Task 2, to fund operation costs for the Hermiston Hopper route. And then the City of Pendleton is requesting to utilize their $83,499.74 of unprogrammed carryover funds by adding $40,000 to Project 10 marketing. And they're going to use that to put a new sign on their bus barn up by the airport. And then adding $43,499.74 to Project 12 to help fund their senior and disabled services. And then lastly, the City of Hermiston is requesting to utilize their $50,000 unprogrammed carryover funds by adding it all to Project 14, which is their work program, their taxi ticket.
I move to authorize staff to submit the STIF plan amendment to utilize the specified unprogrammed carryover funds during the 25-27 budget.
Second, I'd like to make a comment.
Sure.
I love that money is going to the senior and disabled service program. It's so important. So thank you. I thank the City of Pendleton.
The only comment I have is, as we reviewed this yesterday at the state level, carryover may be a past tense term in the near future. So I am glad to see these carryover monies going towards these programs. But one thing that we really need to do is make sure we pay attention to other jurisdictions that don't spend their money, because that money will be coming available in the next 60 days. So I'm glad that you guys did a great job of identifying use for these funds, and hopefully we can even pick off a few more dollars. So thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Building, motion passes. Thank
I'm
you.
sharing with Nick for just a
You
moment.
don't want to do the bill grant?
No, they said I could take this one off.
Okay.
That's me.
Good morning, Nick.
Nick Warner, Deputy County Counsel. Next item before you commissioners is an order to authorize submission for a build planning grant for the Umatilla River Bridge. The amount is substantial. I'm here on behalf of Maine.
I can answer any questions on this. The match is also matched by in-kind. We can use several different sources of in-kind, all the way from Merchant McIntyre to others, plus we have partners on this project. Their time is also involved and counts toward the in-kind.
Are the other entities also paying a 20% match too?
No, one grant, we split to 20.
So the in-kind, I have a question on that. The in-kind, Merchant McIntyre, Charlie, I know Charlie talked yesterday about getting contractors that have to fill in where, there's too much for planning staff to do, so they would have to hire contractors. Those would all be paid, correct?
I'm not sure where you're at.
Well, the in-kind part. I'm asking. How does that
Yeah,
work? Explain that to me.
in-kind is any expense towards this planning project that is put out by any of the partners. So City Umatilla, City Hermiston, Philly County. Time-wise, all of Charlie's times, anything that's dedicated to it by Merchant McIntyre with doing the fiscal chase, any Robert's time, any of legal's time, all gets counted towards it.
Okay. And so the county is going to put up the 735,000.
20% the county isn't the group.
Through in-kind, through staff hours, and as well as potentially whatever it takes to get. That's what I think.
So no general fund dollars.
At this point, no, we haven't identified any general fund dollars, but it would come from economic development if we,
And where does the economic development money come from?
that's a reserve fund.
That'd be a good question.
The economic development fund monies come from where? Thank you, Nick.
Rob Paul, CFO. The Economic Development Fund is funded by lottery funds that we receive on a quarterly basis. We also supplement the Economic Development Reserve Fund occasionally from our local improvement program. That makes sense, or do you
It
need
does.
more clarification?
So is the county picking up all the 20% or the other parties picking up?
It's a partner. City Umatilla, City of Hermiston,
So,
and Umatilla County.
so where everybody's paying
Third.
a third, okay.
Well,
Oh, they're paying
however
a
it works
third.
out. However it works out.
Just want to hit that 20%.
You just want to get the 20% with, you want to do it with in kind.
Right,
So
so,
whoever's in kind gets counted.
so 20% of the 3.677 million is 735,000.
That's the 735.
Yeah,
Right.
so that 735, is that all on the county or is the other entities paying a third of that figure?
Nobody's paying a third until we figure out what the in kind is.
Robert's got his
Go
hand.
ahead.
So my understanding would be, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but we would be able to count the services of the city of Hermiston, the city of Umatilla, and our internal staff as in-kind contributions.
That's what I was getting at, so it's not just on the county. It's-
Right, but it could be. I mean, it does, I don't think I believe that we're filing for this grant, so I think we're on the hook for it. But we can count those other contributions towards that 20% match. $735,000 is a big chunk of 20% match. That's a lot of in-kind people. There may be other costs that you can't actually cover through in-kind, I would guess.
Some of that can actually be in kinded through the preliminary report that we actually already paid for. That's 175,000. But anyway, that's.
The bottom line, Robert, is that 735,000, the county's on the hook for it. The way this order is written, correct?
My understanding is that we're applying for the grant, so we're responsible for evidencing that $735,000 in match, whether that's through payments that we make for funding it, or whether it's payments we make to employees that work on it, whether it's evidence of work that's from somewhere else. But I believe would be our responsibility to show proof of that.
We would be the fiscal administrator.
For an example, when I do my reporting to the, for the in-kind, like add up all my time spent with my overhead cost, my hourly rate, and then all Megan's time spent, and all Bob's time spent, and materials we bought for public management, and I add all that up for the quarter, goes into the spreadsheet, and that's our in-kind. And we just keep doing that till we hit the percent.
And I totally understand all that. I understand 100% of the in-kind.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. My only concern is, are we gonna hit that $735,400? Or are we going to spend general fund dollars to make up the delta?
That's not something.
That's my concern.
Same concern here. I
So-
wish that was just a little bit clearer there. Certainly
So
appreciate
I would recommend we don't use general fund dollars for that purpose.
Me too.
That's obviously a decision that if we come to that point, the commissioners will have to make. There is funding in economic development, depending on whether it is allocated somewhere else or not. to cover cash contributions that might need to be made for that purpose. But again, there are a lot of other projects, and so I'm not sure that would be a discussion that I'll probably have to have with Community and Economic Development about their budget and what their long-term plans are.
So to keep the conversation going, I'd move that we adopt order BCC 2026-009, authorizing submission of a fiscal year 26 build planning grant application for the Umatilla River Bridge Planning Project, and authorize Community Development Department staff to submit the build grant application as long as it does not encumber the general fund.
I'll second that.
I make a comment.
further discussion.
It isn't that I don't like the project, because I think it's very important, especially for that side of the county. What I would really like to see is a work session on this. Just to sit down and clarify the whole thing, because that last paragraph, there's a whole lot of questions there. And I'm going off what Robert's saying too, is that you have a whole lot of projects going on. Do we have the money to cover it? I mean, are we good there as far as your budget goes?
Yeah, I actually am not working directly on the build grant. It's a project.
Right. I'm putting you right on the hot
No,
seat.
that's
I don't need
okay.
you.
When does this need to be
The 20th.
of this month?
Yeah.
Oh, and today's the 18th.
Schedule a session before then, but hey, if you're all available,
I don't know if we've had the time.
Yeah,
To schedule a meeting yet. Our council is saying, no, we don't have time.
how come we're so close up to the deadline on this?
You guys have had this for a couple weeks.
On the motion, it does say that not to include general fund dollars. Did you include that in the motion? That is in there, okay.
Are we all good?
I'm good.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, guys. But that doesn't mean that we can't give you a full-blown presentation.
I bet you guys are tired of me. This is my last one, I promise. And then I get to go finish my cup of coffee that I abandoned. Might need a microphone. Okay, so the city of Umatilla has requested the Board of County Commissioners to sign a letter of support for a community-initiated project request to be submitted jointly to U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley and U.S. Senator Ron Wyden. The city of Umatillas CIP request is for a traffic circle at the intersection of Powerline Road and Highway 730. The city anticipates the project needs to be completed as soon as possible to handle traffic demands and has already signed agreements with ODOT for planning and construction, about $370,000 for planning and analysis. County planning staff have prepared a letter for the board's consideration, which I believe you all have a copy of. And we're requesting to authorize the chair to sign the letter of support for the city of Umatilla's Powerline Road, Highway 730 traffic project.
Against my better judgment, just because I can't stand traffic circles. But I would move to authorize the chair to sign the letter of support for the city of Umatilla's Powerline Road, Highway 730 traffic circle project.
I second. I love
I hate them.
keeps you moving all the time.
They work well.
I think that's
Probably not the last one you see on 730 or Power.
Probably not.
Been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
fine.
Aye.
Thank you for your
Motion
time,
passed.
commissioners. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
That, you're done already? Drill casing contract. Oh. Look at the patience this guy has.
Wake up.
Tom Fellows, Public Works Director. So what's before the board today is the Public Works Department went out for RFPs for for assistance on some foundation repairs on a bridge in Milton Freewater. And we received back one RFP from Working Well Drilling here in Pendleton, a local company. The project consists of drilling and placing multiple pieces of well casing in order to support the foundation for bridge repairs over House Creek. The proposal, I'll just give you the total cost of the proposal was $61,126. This will come out of the road department operating fund at this time, and then the road department will continue to work forward on trying to get this bridge.
I move to award contract for drilling well casings for the bridge support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Have contract.
Yeah. Your other ones.
Yeah.
Good morning again, commissioners. The next business item before you is approved for a contract with NER Construction. It's nice surprise with this one that the cost has actually decreased. The scope has changed. It's $18,150. It's for the path facility.
And it's through the CDBG grant, correct?
That's what the pinky says. I believe that's correct.
I just wanted that for the record as well.
To my knowledge, it's correct.
Yep, it is.
I'd move to approve the contract with their construction for the proposed line, or propane line installation at the path facility for a cost of $18,000.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Next item is DD Payable.
So the next business item is DD Payable due Suite Additions LLC in the amount of $30,107.
I approve payable to Sweet Additions LLC in the amount of $30,107.
I'll second that, but that is not general fund dollars either, correct?
Nope.
Yeah. I knew the answer. I just wanted to begin.
To my knowledge, I don't believe so.
Next item, IT Payable.
We need to vote.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is IT.
Morning, Commissioners. Before you is payable for the maintenance for you. I've been. It's been a while.
Sorry, Dan.
Dan Lanai, Director of Administrative Services. Excuse me. Before you is payable for the maintenance at the data center that we have out at Justice Center there, and that's for the next 3 years on those servers, which then is when we're replacing those about like in a 6-year rotation and stuff. So that'll take us through the remaining 3 years with those. $57,202.83.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. I got a question. Does that include any additions to that?
Oh, so the other server that we're going to add? I'm assuming the other server that we're adding is supposed to have a 3-year warranty on it. Yes, it has the new server that we'll be adding on it's the next PT.
Right.
Has the 3-year service, maintenance service. So, and it will be covered too.
Will those be able to line up so that they expire at the same time?
Yeah, basically because we're renewing the one there and they're within a month or two. Yeah.
In a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is IT Payable failover.
Now, this is that data center we just talked about out there. Has two servers, and when we went back to, I think it's like the Juneteenth weekend, we had an issue out there, and one of the servers died and left only one remaining. So all the jobs automatically move over to the other server. But there was the fear, what happens if that dies? Because it's I think, I might be wrong, I think it was during 4th of July weekend. So trying to get them out and the tech out meant we had to run through the 4th of July weekend, which is a very busy time for the dispatch office. What happens if that second and only the second, the backup server, the second one dies? This allows us to add a third server in there, so we wouldn't be in that position. We have the same thing at the courthouse.
I guess Mike can, is there a motion?
I do have a little bit more on this though too, because apparently Dell is having multiple price increases and it just expired by the time we got this in. That quote expired, and so it actually went up about $4,000. So the new estimate, which still is within the budgetary constraints, is $14,371.10.
So the amount on the pinky is actually incorrect.
Yes.
Okay.
It's correct, and for purposes of the record, I've handed the amended contract to the board.
Would be the total for the month.
Yeah, $14,371.10.
Move approval.
Okay, my only question here is, now that we have triplicate, what, do we still need to pay the 57,000 times 3?
Well, it's not times 3. That's just the one time for 3 years.
For 3 years?
$57,000 today pays for 3 years.
On the oldest of the 3 servers. And then we have the new one.
Everything for the next 3 years, we will not pay any more money for maintenance from those. Those servers.
Yeah.
At the end of those 3 years, those servers will be 6 years old and need to be replaced.
Why are we paying $57,000 for a maintenance agreement when we're buying a triplicate?
Because it's so when the servers die, I mean, it's not just the servers, there's switches involved and there's a stand, a big data storage unit on there too. So there's more than just that. And it also gives us tech support if there's an issue.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So my main one goes down and I paid this 50 grand to make sure I have maintenance on that. At that time I have this backup that has me covered.
Yeah, so they come out like in before, when it went down, when one of them went down, it automatically switches over to, they actually share the load all the time. So all the servers are sharing load. And what happens is it just takes that one out of the sequence. And if there was a server running on it, they're virtual servers, it moves it over to the second one. And then the guys, when they dispatch somebody and they come out and replace the parts on the one that died, and then they bring that back up, and then we're.
But now we have a third one.
Yeah, so there's a third one in the mix, so that we don't end up on, because they don't respond on the weekends or after hours to replace parts. It's not.
For $57,000, they don't respond on the weekend?
It's 24/7 response, but getting a tech in and getting supplies in. So you lose a hard drive. They ship it out of Maryland or something. FedEx is not going to necessarily get it to you, and by the time they do that minute, so it takes a while to get to it. So.
I'm all for the backup, don't get me wrong, in the 57,000. I just think for 57,000, if you're buying 24/7, you shouldn't have to buy another server for triplicate. It's just my opinion, but.
Well, I just don't like the idea of having dispatch, so one server's down and you're running everything over the 4th of July weekend on the second server. Who's to say something doesn't happen? I mean, it just increases our odds. We don't actually have to have it. But we're sitting there not sleeping all through the 4th of July weekend worrying that that system may go
And
down.
we also at the same, I mean, I'm not against it.
There's other single points of failures in the deal too.
Right,
so.
and we have Morrow County as a backup too. So now we actually have 4.
Well, Morrow County does not have any they're only the backup for dispatching. They don't have a backup server. So we are
We
the,
get the server part. But I mean, we could still, here's my point is eventually we're gonna have to say, is the risk worth the reward? And I don't know if we're there yet.
when we were there at 10,000, it seemed pretty simple.
Yeah.
Go forwards.
Yeah.
Now, in the last month, it jumped up to 14. So yeah, I'm not happy with that. But I really don't want to have something happen and everybody's doing everything on paper. So we can get things fixed.
We have a motion.
There's no guarantee on anything. We're just trying to put the odds in our favor.
Those are expensive odds. Motion in a second?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Dave.
Just for clarification of the record, Commissioner Shaver, your motion was for the increased amount, correct?
Yes, I did say the correct, the amount, the amended amount that Dan.
We pass that and make sure that's what you. That's the new amount. Thanks. Fair purchase copy machine.
We should be a copy machine dealer by now, shouldn't we?
Aren't we? Or used machine dealer.
Commissioners, the next business item before you is a purchase of a copier for the fair office. The amount on the quote is $6,072 through.
I'm going to approval for purchase.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Nick.
See another copy or payment on the thing, it'd be,
It'll probably be next week.
yeah.
SS4A project payment.
So the next business item before you, Commissioners, is the authorization, granted payment of LATCF funds towards the 4A County Road Digitalization Project in an amount of $38,628.48. This is one that Robert maybe light on.
This is the one, if I'm not mistaken, is the only string attached is you can't pay for lobbying services.
Exactly. This comes from the tribal and
Yeah, consistency.
rescue, American Rescue.
And if Commissioner Murdoch were still sitting here, he would call this the Wyden money.
He still would too.
Yeah. So I'd move to authorize grant and payment from the LATCF funds towards the SS4A County Road Digitalization Project in the amount of $38,628.48.
And a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next item is the board schedule.
This next business item is a scheduling matter, is rescheduling to April 15th.
April 14th.
Correct.
Approval.
Second?
And a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Fiscal policy discussion. The discussion item presented by Nick.
That's correct. So this is something I've been working on for a little while, Commissioners. It involves the amendment or reconstruction of two different policies. One, it is the authorization to essentially expend public funds. That's policy 500, and then 502 is the procurement policy. The goal of this is twofold. Number one is to increase efficiency throughout the county when expending funds, and the other part of it is to provide our managers with guidance when it comes to sourcing their procurements, so that it's a little bit of a less nebulous process for them, and so they can figure out exactly what they need to do, make the purchases they need in order to conduct county business. Proposed versions of those policies have been attached to Pinky. If you have any questions or discussion on this, I'd like to put it before you now, just kind of to get your thoughts. And with that,
I'll start it off because I can give you kind of a roundup of some of our discussions that we had before. And Nick really did a lot of work on this. There probably was very little discussion on the 10,000 director level, moving at 5 to 10,000 for the director. Means we kind of had this discussion, that would mean that commissioners would even though we do a really good job of combing through the check and the checks that are written, that would be our kind of vision into that 0 to 10,000 range. There was talk of floating down to the manager level of a $5,000 procure level. And I guess personally, I have a little bit of pushback there. I think there are some one-off times for sure, fair times for the times they put on an event, that OHA puts on an event or whoever. But to me, it would be important to make sure that the directors understood what was being spent over that $2,500 within their departments. And I think granting a $5,000 procure to that mid-manager or manager below the director, I think those two steps happening at the same time might be a little much. I would rather work through. I'd rather have the discussion of working through that 2,500 level and see where that ends up. Maybe by our next director's meeting or get input back.
Sorry, the only thing I would add that I probably should have gone through at the start is that 10,000-foot view, some of the major changes that the amendment to these policies would make would be to change the authorizations, where instead of it being $5,000 for commissioner approval, that amount would be 10. Between 5 and 10 would require either CFO authorization or liaison commissioner approval. Below $5,000 would be up to division heads, or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's close. You're close.
Additionally, in 500, there was some language in there that would authorize certain delegated authority to people, those managers, to the discretion of the division heads, I think, or the directors.
In consultation with the
CFO, list maintain. But those are kind of the high-level view of the changes to 500.
Did I miss the 500? I don't see anything on here for 500. I see 5,000.
That was part of
No,
the
it's
discussion.
the
He was going over the
delegated.
discussion. At the top.
I certainly appreciate all the work you've put in on this, that's for sure. The 500 point for the delegated authority, I have a problem with that. Absolutely not.
And that's kind of what this is. It's a draft to be put, before the commissioners. Take what you like, leave what you don't. Here to get your thoughts on it, to figure out kind of, what the thoughts of the
And it may be something that worth that each of us sit down with Nick individually and then we come back and either have a work session or at the next board of commissioners. We can.
I'd like to see a work session on.
I think that's definitely something that we could do. I would advise a work session on it if
That's where I would lean.
Yeah, me too.
Because we had really good discussion and Robert had a lot of good input, but there's more. I mean, Nick has a lot more work in this than what you're.
Oh, I'm sure.
This was just a discussion item, so if there's any further discussion, if not, we'll leave it by setting up a work session. Thank you, Nick. You've been off a big one there. Charter Review Committee.
So the next business item for the board of commissioners is kind of a discussion on how to initiate, once they initiate the process for charter review, and appoint the charter review committee, or how they want to proceed with getting the charter established.
I just have a comment. I can't believe we're looking at charter review committee again. That's for sure.
I I think the recommendation here is just do it the same as we've done in the past, put it out for public notice. And then, put the selection committee as the legal and the commissioners. I don't think it's any more complicated than that.
I mean, I haven't gone into lengthy discussions with Doug on it, but, I would say it's a,
Worked in the past.
Do you need a motion on that?
Yeah, we probably do.
That motion, Dan?
I'll make a motion to move forward. Start review committee setting up and selection is historically done.
Second.
And then second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
You're welcome.
Item is compensation review committee appointments.
the next item is order BCC 2026-005. It's annual appointments in the Compensation Review Committee. The folks up for appointment are listed there in the pinky. It's Brad Eldridge and Pat Hagan.
Yep.
Recommended for.
I move to adopt BCC 2026-005.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Stock sales support. This is another discussion that it's been brought up several times and coming back, and we'd like to get the amounts set so that each of the auctions can they'll know what's coming. I think whatever you guys' wishes are, that's pretty much where we ended up.
That looks good to me. I move to approve contribution of $5,000 for each youth livestock sale at Milton Freewater Junior Show and Pendleton Junior Show, and $15,000 for Umatilla County Fair.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
A rub down stamp.
Hey, I like it.
Payable for lobbying service. John, you want?
Yeah, so this is the payables for the board for approval for $12,000. This is with Oxley and Associates. This is the one we do in conjunction with the City of Pendleton, Blue Mountain Community College, and Intermountain Education Services for $12,000.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is a board payable. I think this is.
Yep. The next item, business item for the board is the approved payable for now out of the Northeast Oregon Water Association, the amount of $28,000.
I can add to that. This is, actually, I think we've already approved this payment. This is the Brownstein payment that we approved up to $150,000. And this is the first payment of that. So, I just approve again.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we need to bring that back each time that there's an incremental payment?
I'd have to look at the previous approval. I don't, if it's already been approved in the full amount, I don't think.
Robert? Input?
We'll need to look at it for percent. Yes or no?
Thank you. And then the last item, number 21, is the all Tom. Yeah, we're through. Thank you for waiting us out. Almost called the restroom break a little while ago.
What I gotta do, Commissioner. Tom
Yes, you do.
Public Works Director. What we have before the board is we had a bridge down in Hermiston on Edwards Road that developed a hole in it. When we got to looking, the corrugated metal decking that supports the asphalt on this bridge has deteriorated to the point where we need to redeck the bridge. It wasn't picked up on the bridge inspection prior. It just, sometimes these things just happen. So in order to get the decking ordered. It's about 6 weeks out. Our goal here, we would really like to get this bridge redecked before harvest because it's not going to not bode well.
I'm not gonna bode well for my phone, I'll guarantee you.
If we don't, so that's why the short notice on this. The decking, corrugated metal decking for this bridge is $25,720 from Contact Engineered Solutions. And because they're really the only ones that build this stuff, it's we're purchasing it on sole source agreements.
Approval.
Thank you.
Well, second, I have a question. Do they have someplace else that they can go to? Is there some kind of a detour route on this?
This is gonna be one of those where the detour is gonna be very long. But fortunately, if we have the decking on site and the asphalt plants are operating, it should only be down for about a week.
Okay.
So it'll be we're hoping to have everything staged and just have a really short term.
This, just for your information, if you go on your way to Stanfield, go straight instead of through Stanfield, Edwards Road. It's probably one of the most major, it's turned into a major thoroughfare. There's a reason the decks wore out,
It's almost like a highway anymore.
almost.
Yeah, I can't tell you what the ADT is on it off the top of my head, but it is high. And
So the closest would actually have to be all the way over to Ott and around if you went that way, or all the way over to Loop and Cool Springs
Don't do that during harvest.
or any other.
well, I can retire. It would be my phone.
Yeah, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks for waiting.
We'll have to get that signed, so. Got
I do want to say, in closing, thanks to the commissioners for a lengthy meeting. We covered a lot of ground, a lot of good discussion, so thank you guys. I appreciate it. Meeting adjourned.